By 2045, it totally blew up and snagged over 1 billion users instantly. They dropped a quest, smash a wooden dummy in 10 hits for a $50 million pod plus 5 stat points. A whole year since drop, and 0 players beat it. Support was freaking out about getting roasted for making a literally impossible quest. PR guy was quitting till our random MC stepped up. No one cared. Tilly one-shot the doll with a 6-sword crit. Everyone shook he was the first winner ever. The boss yelled for background check but saw his sword was just mid-tier epic. That hyped him more, cause he won with basic gear. Before winning, Hyunwoo woke from a nightmare of his dad burning. He meets his pal Jun at the hospital, hiding behind a mask and hat. Jiyoon met up and teased him about looking hot. Hyunwoo ripped off the mask, revealing his burn scar. Jiyoon got down to business. He asked if Hyunwoo knew Eris, but our clueless MC lives under a rock. Yoon explained the game, then spilled, there's a massive newbie event. Jiyoon said nobody won, not even the pros. Jiyoon hyped the loot and said, let's try. Hugh was shocked. He said that, since millions failed? Jun said it's tough but doable. Jun thinks they can win with Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo was still lost. So Jiyoon showed the $10 million pod he bought. Hyunwoo freaked that he spent $10 million. MC was shook by the price and player count. Jiyoon thinks it's worth the cash and promised epic loot. If they win, real cash trading pulled tons of people in. Jiyoon got tired of yapping and told Hyunwoo to hop in. Hyunwoo wasn't hyped and asked, where'd you get this? Jiyoon said, ignore that and focus on the sweet loot. Hyunwoo remains a total skeptic, betting 0 loot on this game plan. He looks at his bro like, you crazy? Jihoon swears it's an investment and they'd crush it together. Hyunwoo is clueless about the hype. Jihoon drops the bomb. There's a VR blacksmith class. Since Hyunwoo's dad is a smithing legend, Jihoon thinks it's destiny. Finally, the dude gets what his homie was yapping about all along. He lifts his cap to show the accident's gnarly aftermath. Scars everywhere. Look at me, I'm wrecked, he sighs. His dad's workshop fire was a total disaster, and Hyunwoo got toasted trying to save him. Saved his pops, but the guy's still in a coma. Now he grinds trash jobs just to pay the bills. Bus made him hammer a nail one random day. 10 years of XP meant he was usually a hammer god, but that day, he totally whiffed it. Right arm's got 0 juice left in it. So yeah, smithing career, officially dead. Thanks for trying, bro, but I'm good. Hyunwoo says. He spins to bounce, while telling Jihoon to refund that 10 million won toy. Door opens, but Jihoon yells, you absolute moron. You're killing yourself for bills on a dead-end grind. Jihoon screams, this game is the golden ticket to fix everything. Then hits him with, since when do you quit? I bought the rig, just shut up and use it. Jihoon begs him to give it just one shot, hate it, then bail. Hyunwoo ghosts him, but at work, the words stick. Can't shake it, despite the desperate need for cash. Suddenly, clang, metal sounds hit him right in the feels. Curiosity spiked. He decides to log in. Driven by nostalgia, he hops into the pod. He spawns inside the char creation zone and just uses his real name. Lazy? System scans his bod to build the avatar. Whoa, the avatar is totally scar-free. Staring at this absolute perfection, the game asks, keep this look. Heck yes, he smashes confirm. His arm strength is back. He actually smirks. Okay, he owes Jihoon big time for this. Drops him in ban. The noob zone. Random spawn luck. Wanders until he spots Ren's forge. Peeks in. Smithy guy is hammering away, just mashing it. Hyunwoo goes, bro, doing it all wrong. Guy freezes, excuse me. Say that again? Hyunwoo doubles down. Yeah, totally wrong way, dude. One epic loot. That technique gets you 0 stats. He says, that. Smith is lost, Hyunwoo says, saving you from making trash. Dude gets salty fast. Some random kid roasting his skills. No way. Tosses the hammer. Think it is easy. You do it. I will be watching you fail. The Smith grunts. Hyunwoo just wanted brownie points to use the gear. But this challenge, way better opportunity. Bet, says Hyunwoo. I will craft it, but one condition. Smith asks, which is, I keep the loot I make. Hyunwoo smirks. Dia is, I teach you the secret sauce. Kid is cocky, but the Smith buys it. Fine. But mess this up, he warns, and you are toast. 0. Doubt. Hyunwoo nods. Steps up. Hammer time. Wait, hasn't forged in 3 years? Whatever. He still has the mojo. Muscle memory. He lifts the hammer and bangs away. Clang. Rusty senses wake up instantly. Feels that rush he has been missing for ages. Hype now. He keeps pounding that steel. Smith is watching, totally unimpressed. Thinks the noob is gonna flop hard. Then he sees the moves. Wait, this kid is a pro. Maybe not a master, but Hyunwoo is grinning like a maniac while working. Smith thinks, just beginner's luck though. Starts thinking he just wasted his break. Bam. Hyunwoo drops a pro skill. Folds, attaches, refines, smooth moves. Purifies the metal. Smith is shook. Why didn't I think of that? The old guy, in denial, scans the blade with appraisal. Jaw drop. D grade jumped to C grade. Dude is losing his marbles. He has made C grade, but that fast. Never seen it. Finally, it clicks. Maybe Hunu wasn't capping about his mad skills after all. But bro's thinking, that's it. He peeked. No way he tops that. He's totally gaslighting himself. Betting there's zero chance Hunu outsmiths him. Smithy keeps creeping until he passes out cold. Wakes up at dawn. And plot twist Hunu's still grinding. Dude's been smashing that steel all night. Zero, chill. Checks the stats, and his jaw drops it. Can't wrap his head around Hunu hitting those numbers. And from the looks of it, homeboy ain't quitting yet. Hunu finally lags, wobbling like he's gonna drop it. But Smithy grabs it. Yo, what's next? I'm your minion now. Hunu grins at the assist and gives him props. So they both start going ham on that blade. Smithy whips out his notepad, jotting down the cheat codes. Boom! Hunu boosts that steel to a tier fast. Smithy has to stand. Never seen rare loot in the noob zone before. Looks like Hunu's crafting a legit unique drop here. While Smithy's fangirling over the progress, Hunu kills the vibe. Hold up, don't pop the confetti. Smithy shook Hunu's like hilts. Trash. Edge is dull. Do better. This pro looks like a total noob when told the blade ain't sharp enough. Smithy confesses he's never met a beast like Hunu, and he's been hammering since diapers. Since Hunu needs a weapon, Smithy's like, let's make another. Then he flexes, hard pulls out some rare mithril. Says this shiny stuff is a mega family treasure. Hunu Seuss. Why gimme the good stuff? Smithy admits he's been schooled and craves more lesson. Plus, the dude literally doesn't have the XP to forge it. Wants to see Hunu craft something epic. Says he's suddenly feeling all protective over Hunu. Hunu's mind is blown. Mithriel's basically Mythico, and now he gets to play with the legendary loot. Never touched it, but he's ready to see what spawns. With this shiny new loot, Hunu's gotta reset the grind from scratch. Smithy's hyped, asking if he can coop on this build. Hunu says yes, since the guy donated top-tier mats. Then things get weird. Smithy wants to call him master. Hunu's like, nah bro, since the guy's basically a boomer. They grind for a month straight until Hunu crafts his dream blade. Then he crushed the event. And that's all the dirt the game admins could dig up on him. Dude went full ghost mode just to dodge the paparazzi. The squad kept stalking him until they spotted him at the monster hunting zone. The NPC gatekeeper blocked him, saying he's too weak sauce and needs to go whack a bunny first. But our guy was like, chill, I'm not here to clown around. Relson said grab a blade. But Hanu's all icy, saying he brought his own custom toy to Rec Shop. Bro grinded the noob zone for a month straight just for the stats. He snagged the only epic sword there, but he's still level 1. The game dev heard the tea and was like, let him cook. Let's see how far this noob gets. Relson's brain broke seeing a level 1 scrub refuse free gear. He roasted Hianu for playing Blacksmith Simulator. Then he dropped some truth bombs. This place is crawling with beasts. Said pro skills, beat a poser with junk gear any day. His like bar tanked hard. He officially hates our boy's guts. Hianu didn't blink. He's used to getting hate IRL too. Then Yanu dared Relson to load the hardest mode ever, cause he wants to flex on the top players. Relson got triggered, and decided to humble him with a crazy trial. Told him to tag along for a special beat, took him to the goblin pit, and asked Yishabra. Hianu nodded. Relson raged, shouting he's banned for a week if he flops this test. But Yanu trolled him, asking if stage 3 is the max, cause he wants a full speed. That trash talk nearly made the NPC explode. He snapped and unlocked stage 4. A level 15 psycho goblin. Barely any gamers. Beat stage 3, and 0 people have cleared stage 4. Boom, Hanu's facing down nightmare fuel. He stayed chill as they rushed him. Lined up his shot, waiting for the jumping creep. 1 slash, and he deleted the goblin with the swag of a guy knowing his sword is dropped one fast, but the other sucker punched him in the gut. Keanu crumpled gasping, and Relson smirked, ready to say, told ya. Shockingly, our boy ate that hit like a champ. Guess all that, Smithin for a month, buffed his tank stats. But his speed is still trash. No upgrades there yet. While he's shaking it off, the crazy goblin charges again. That gobbo looks straight up, freaky waving his gear, about to wreck you. Whereas Yanu gets debuffed, dizzy, and blind. Teach is shook that Hianu tanked. It all but figures, he's toast now. Now it's Hianu versus 2 ugly gobs. He doesn't panic, trusts his crafted gear, focuses hard, and right before they hit, slice, the whole crowd watching, even the devs and Teach are totally shook. Teach grins, hyped realizing Hianu is special. Relson thinks Hianu, swords, but Hanu's like, nah, smiths, no tools. That's when Rel sees he's a legit master smith. Seeing those scars, Hyanu ain't soft. Relson apologizes fast. Affinity, maxed out. Then he asks, yo, wanna be the Mad Lord? It's a legendary class. When the devs hear it, they lose it. Can't believe he got offered a class better than Mad Knight? It's epic, but no take. The Mad Lord is basically a boss who leads an army and saves the world. Relson waits, thinking it's a yes. But shocker, Hyanu says pass, I'm a smith. The devs grin, and even Teach loves that. Hyanu thought his smithing days were done, but the game changed, and he's not quitting. Teach gives him a rec letter. Go to the castle, VIP waiting. As a prize, Relson gives him the rusty armor. It looks like junk, but Relson knows Hyanu can fix it up. Relson hypes him to do the impossible. The devs are stoked that Hyanu didn't waste his potential. There's a blacksmith god class, top tier, and Hyanu is still on track for it. Done with training, Hyanu finally goes to the village. Real game starts now, but he logs out first. IRL stuff to do. He's glad he's used to the game, but his cash is tanking. He realizes he's got to pay dad's hospital bills plus rent. Jiun calls, asking if he finally cleared the training zone since work kept him offline forever. Hunu's like, yeah, noting he hit the village and got a quest. Jiun's stoked. Tells him to hit up the auction house. It's where peeps trade sick gear for gold. 10 gold is 10,000 won. Pros, treat it like a Jiun admits that's why he dragged Hunu in. He's never seen swords as epic as Hunu's fam makes. He's hyped Hunu joined, cause now they can sell top-tier blades. Hunu thanks his bro, feeling grateful. He stuffs his face to boost stamina for crafting gold makers. Then he goes for a run, swearing to wake his dad up. Later, Hunu logs back in. He hits the auction, needing a shop name to list stuff. He types Hyan's Forge and teleports to a Skyforge. System says he can access auctions 24/7 now. Besides his Lightbringer, he's got one dummy sword he crafted. Similar junk swords sell for at least 70 gold. Since he wants cash and his pal said, don't go cheap. He listed for 100. He throws it on the market, fingers crossed. He names it Hyan's first sword. Buyers get pinged instantly. Gamers are shook. He crafted it from scratch. It's so OP, the bids keep climbing. Golden Shield Guild sees it has enhancements. The Vice Master isn't impressed because cheap mats usually have high success rates anyway. Thinks Sunu skimped on materials, but admits naming it first sword was big brain energy. Then it hits them. Buying it first boosts their rep. Blam doesn't hesitate and snags it. Hunu's stressing and it sells. He's stunned, seeing it sold for over 1,000 gold. Dude flips out since that's 1 million one IR. Grinning like a goofy kid, he knows he struck gold. He peeps the buyer logs, and bam, it's the Golden Shield Guild snipers. Then this dude Blam slides into his DMS repping the Golden Shield crew, says he can crash their crib whenever cause they're thirsty for his skills. Basically, they're dangling. Exclusive sales gig or a guild badge if he's vibing with it. Turns out they're smithing pros with like 780,000 stands. Jihoon said gaining clout's harder than grinding XP, and fans equal cash. Hunu peeps his own follower count, a sad 80, but his inbox is still blowing up with invites from other squads. Real talk, blacksmiths are total VIPs in-game compared to cause the game desperately needs legit crafters to spawn sick weapons and shiny loot. Despite the sweet offers, Hugh ain't ready to tie the knot with a guild. Mostly cause he hasn't even flexed half his true power level yet. So to level up his game, he bounces over to the Lord's Manor. Lord Barnes is trying to fix some loot, but his lackey says, go to the capital. Cause those fixer-uppers are total divas who hate the boonies. The Lord knows the vibe, but he ain't keen on ditching his turf to trek all the way to the big city. Turns out the broken item is this legendary bow his dad left him. Plot twist. This Bell dude chatting him up as a catfish rogue faking smith skills. He's been grinding to farm Barnes' trust for a week, and he's finally in. Bell volunteers to mule the bow to the city and get it looking fresh. Then Hyansu busts in, totally wrecking his scheme by claiming the bow can be fixed right here in the hood. Barnes is shook and tells Yanu the thing is basically crispy toast. Who's this random? Barnes asks his squad. Guards spill that Hanu's got a solid vouch letter from Relson. Barnes freaks out that Relson actually recommended someone personally. Now he's hooked and demands Hyanu drop his stats and skills. Hanu's like I'm level 1 and currently jobless. Bell hears that and crashes the chat, calling Hyanu absolute trash tier. Claims you need to be level 80 just to unlock that restore skill. Bell screams at Hyanu to stop messing with his setup. Hyunu finally claps back, telling Bell he totally misidentified the bow. Says it's a horn bow, not a recurve, UNOOB. Bell's brain glitches, and Hyunu tells the Lord he knows the item lore. Turns out, the BA came from some Rondo to Barnes data totally unique loot. Before Hyansu can spit more facts, Barnes cuts him off, telling He's fed up with strangers, lecturing him on his family swag. Hyunu drops the mic. Sure, an outsider gave it, but it was crafted locally. Hyunu also mentions, spotted a buffalo doodle walking in. Back home, those horns are his steer mats. But wait, the bow gave off weird vibes. Used whale string instead of cow guts. What? Hyunu asks the boss, what's up with that? Lord says, yep, my dad Smithy bro made it. Turns out that doodle was a buffalo stampede. See? The buffalo and whale parts. Are rare drops from the local swamps and docks. Barnes says the smith used the rarest loot around. Barnes is shook that Hyunu spotted. What, a level 100? Smith totally missed? Bell is losing it, cause the Lord is hyping Hyunu up. Lord needed a pro air so the loot wouldn't rot. Since Hyunu totally, bossed it, the Lord lets him fix the bow. Bonus, 500 gold. If he pulls it off, Barnes kicks Bell out, saying, is in quotes? LL. Holler if he needs him later. Bell storms out, super salty and plotting revenge. Barnes asks the plan. Hyunu needs horns and whale sinew. Plus, oak, mulberry bamboo, and legit tools. List done, Hyunu unlocks the repair recipe. System warns, fail under 70%. Loot goes poof. He touches it and boom, memories of crafting with dad hit hard. He's tearing up, drowning in the nostalgia feels. Even his pod hits 99.9% sync. Stoked he can craft thanks to his dad's lessons. About to start, and Barnes walks in to help out. Next thing they know, they've ground all day. Barnes is toast. But Hyunu, dude's full of energy and smiling. Barnes tries to chill, but Hyunu says, no breaks. Reminds him, he came here, to fix his fam's heirloom personally. Barnes agrees. That bow is his last link to dad. Then Barnes notices. Hyunu loves the grind. Reminds him of his own ball work. So the duo keeps grinding. And 20 plus days just fly by. Finally, they fully restore the marksman's hornbow. Stats are insane, way better than the OG version. And boom. A stranger saves a family legacy. Dad would be proud. They take the epic loot outside. Hyunu tosses the bow to Barnes. Give it a spin. See if the vibes match your memories. Barnes lets an arrow fly. It unleashes so much aura, the target gets vaporized. Feels weird, Barnes mutters, and Hyunu immediately starts sweating bullets. But then, Barnes drops the act, grinning huge because it's way superior to the old trash. Boom. Restoration quest smashed with a score over 100%. Just like that, his bro-level intimacy with Barnes hits the max cap. Hyunu lets out a massive few. Crisis averted, mission success. Barnes gives props, grateful he can finally get back to his grind. 500 gold is peanuts, Barnes says. Take 2,000 gold coins instead. Plus he hands over an All-Access VIP pass to use the forge anytime. Hanu's jaw drops that. Much gold is serious. Cash in real-world money. While he's mentally spending the loot, Barnes hits him with, hey kid, want to learn how to swing a blade? Turns out, before ruling this place, Barnes was a total sword legend. His secret moves apparently crushed monster waves and saved the whole zone. You're a beast with a hammer, Barnes admits, but I see warrior vibes in you too. Serious sword potential. He first spotted the info in Relson's hype letter, but seeing Hanu's crazy strength firsthand confirmed the rumors. So, Barnes decides to leak some of his top-tier sword secrets to Hyunu. Ding! The system pops up a shiny new skill quest window. It's Prime Sword Art, Grade B grants 80% mastery. Barnes gives him a heads up though. Get ready for hell training. Just like the workshop grind. 1 month later, Hyunu has crafted a custom horn bow for his own use. Also, he finally fixed up that crusty Mad Monarch armor. On top of that, he's been sparring with Barnes non-stop like a maniac. Sword training cleared. Barnes asks if he's packed and ready to roll. Hyunu nods, dropping a massive thank you to Barnes for helping him get totally geared up for the road. What's the play? Barnes asks. Hanu's goal, snag a new job class. Hyunu equips the now shiny Madlord armor, looking sharp. Doors always open if you need backup, Barnes promises. Hyunu loves the custom gear. It totally makes up for his trash stats. To cover his IRL bills and snacks, he tosses some rare crafted bows onto the auction house. He lazily names this batch Hyan's second bow. Creative, right? He wonders what kind of crazy price it'll fetch this time. It's made of rare stuff, basically a limited edition drop. Guildmaster Rune spots the listing and flips out. The quality is insane. The stats are god tier considering Hyunu used total junk materials. There's this rumor floating around the game community. The system gifts players jobs or titles that match their play. Impress the AI, get a reward. Rune bets Hyunu. How's a legend? Kinda like that top tier guy? Smith, final bid, hit 2,000 gold. Hyunu's jaw dropped. Can't believe Simps would drop that much cash on a bow. On top of that, he gained 3,000 newsstands. With the fans came infinite guild invites and orders he can't handle. Once he sorts the sails, he preps for the blacksmith, Holy Land. The tower, he pulls up to the totally majestic blacksmith tower and gets wrecked by the sick design. Entrance is blocked by a massive sealed lock. How do you enter? System pings him. Gotta smack the seal with a sword made in the magic forge. He checks the lock first. It's a rock. Igneous. Actually, Hunu's wondering where the magic forge is when poof, he's teleported inside. System says, training time. Craft the sword to pass the test. Plus, he gets unlimited mats and tools. Sweet deal. Also, crafting speed is way faster than a normal shop. But the sword is useless. Trash outside of this test. Hunu wonders what the vibe of this test is. Is it about skill or something else entirely? Who knows? Meanwhile, Tower Master Deng thinks no one loves the craft. Deng Tola gave up on finding real smiths and just hands titles to clout chasers who want the fame. He bets 0 people can ever slice that ceiling stone. Hunu decides to go big. He's crafting a Damascus blade. Only top-tier pros can make those bad boys. Since mats are free, he wants to shoot his shot. Pops taught him a sword can cut anything if done right. Hunu feels like he can totally crush this mission. Feeling lucky with the infinite loot and speed buffs. He grins, hyped to finally work. On a sword his way, been forever since he had fun. Deng's passed out until a weird vibe rocks the tower. He freaks out. Someone's hammering is shaking the place. He can't believe his eyes. He peeks out, the lock got sliced like butter. Deng rushes to the door just as Hunu walks in. Thinks the smithing god has finally graced them. Hunu's all nervous, like, did I pass? Deng says the stone measures skill, but he just broke it. Hunu hears that and assumes. Pop quiz time. Round 2 starts now. Deng drags him to a glowy rune. Surprise! Summoning circle. He tosses a mallet at Hunu. Yours now, kid. Hunu's lost, but grabbing it triggers a ping. Hamma of the Covenant acquired. Plus, an SS rank quest immediately locks onto him. Deng shoves him into the light. Go ace the real test. In a blink, he spawns in a weird zone, and the quest window finally pops up. Mission. Crush the orcs. He looks up. A green tidal wave charges him. Dude nearly has a heart attack. When he sees the mob. Wait, isn't this a blacksmithing gig? 50 soldiers behind him think he's the cavalry sent by Deng. To pass, he needs 70 rep points from these 50 troops. Hans, the squad captain, gives Hunu a huge welcome. Those greenskins are going crazy lately. He says their gear is totally trashed from the fighting, so they need his skills to fix their blades. Aquin, Hunu admits, I haven't unlocked the blacksmith class yet. Can't fix squat? Hans stares at him, then points at the Malatunu sweats. Got this as a test souvenir. He explains he was just warped here for a bonus round. Hans facepalms, realizing the kid has 0 XP. Hunu whispers that his combat stats are basically noob. The captain's face drops instantly. They wanted a hero, but got a newbie who needs babysitting. Hans sighs and orders Hunu to the watch. Stay safe till we're back, kid. Suddenly, a flying axe targets Hans. Hunu slaps it out of the air. Hans's jaw hits the floor. Pure shock. I'm new, Hunu says, but let me tag along. Hans nods, and Hunu trails the squad to the front lines. He prays these guys drop as easily as the goblins did. Stick with Ben. Hans barks. Do whatever he says. Before long, Hunu finds himself staring down orcs. Way scarier than goblins. But he charges in with the guts to win. The first orc gets decapitated instantly. Just one kill, and boom. 80 He grins that training grind with Barnes really paid off. He even levels up while still being jobless. Ben watches him wreck shop and thinks, this kid's insane. But chatting with Hunu ruins his focus. Hunu spots an orc rushing a distracted Ben, so he swaps to his bow. He looses a sniper shot right at the beast. Before the ugly guy flinches, he's toast. That arrow hits hard, sends the guy flying like a total rat. Hunu keeps the streak going, sniping another orc. Boom. Another level up. Ben is absolutely shook that a simple arrow dropped that beast. Hans screams at Ben to clear out, warning him the orc mob is swarming Hunu. Ben realizes he totally messed up Hunu's flow. He thinks Hunu's toast, but nope, he swaps to the Lightbringer sword instantly. With the blade out, he triggers Flurry, a skill that obliterates everything in a 10-meter radius. The sword goes to work, slicing through orcs like hot butter. Another ding. He hits 19% contribution. Seeing the carnage, Hans is hyped, thinking they can actually win this war with Hunu carrying the squad. Hans hollers at the troops. We finally got a shot too. Crush this unit, something they've never pulled off before. Morale spikes, and Hunu is already feeling like one of the boys. He keeps slaying, but he hits 20%. The XP bar starts dragging. Suddenly, the system pops up. You're killing too fast. Chill. Because he's so OP, he unlocks a secret chapter nobody's seen. Then, a level 51 warrior boss appears out of nowhere. Hans freaks out and yells, "Hold up! Stop pushing!" They've tried to beat this guy heaps of times, but always get absolutely wrecked. It's looking bad there, totally surrounded by the horde. Hans regrets charging in too deep like a total noob, but Ben hypes the team up. "We can take him down." Hans nods, sick of getting bullied by these creeps. Perched on a hill, Hans sees the team rushing in. He decides to provide cover fire from up top. He snipes at the boss, aiming straight for the dome, but the arrow bounces right off the helmet. Seeing that fail, the team thinks, okay, maybe we run. But Hans tries a hero play and gets his hand sliced off for it. Now Hans is helpless against the monster. And who knew sprints over, screaming his name, hoping he's not game over. Instantly, the orc mob crowds him again. Hans is messed up bad, but safe with the squad for now. Hyunu throws everything he has, but can't scratch the boss. Realizing they're gonna get wiped, he orders everyone to defend and fall back to the forest. ASAP. He promises he's right behind him. Ben yells, "Save the captain, we gotta regroup." The soldiers book it into the woods, but Ben warns Hyunu they can't run fast enough in there. Ben grumbles that this barely buys them any time at all. Hyansoo does the math. He needs 5 minutes. "Can you guys survive for, 5 minutes? Ben tells them they've got this. 5 minutes? Bet. Hyansoo starts stressing over that thick orc armor though. He refuses to believe arrows can't pierce that junk. Whips out Dang's hammer. Turns out, it's legendary loot. The thing speed runs crafting, while Ben and the squad are fighting for their lives. Hyansoo is literally cooking. Even though the boys are wrecked, they hold the line until Hyansoo is done. Ben is leaking red stuff everywhere, but he keeps grinding, chanting 5 minutes like a mantra. Suddenly, the orc warrior gets way too up close and personal. Just as Ben's about to be toast, a missile screams toward the enemy. That thing smacks the orc with enough force to wreck his armor and punch a hole straight through him. Blood sprays everywhere. Ben is totally confused. He spins around Hyansoo's. They're glowing with main character energy. Hyansoo lines up another shot at the big ugly guy. Boom. Headshot the monster, face plants hard. Ben's jaw basically hits the floor. Squinting, he sees Hyansoo modded his bow with something new. It's the Swift Arrow, 70% penetration, 60% speed boost. Short ammo, but it flies crazy fast and hits like a truck. Hyansoo pulled this off thanks to that big brain bamboo pipe contraption he built. Hyansoo isn't done yet. Folks, the orc tries to stand. The squad gets hyped to buy Hyansoo more time. Hyansoo chills and aims at the orcs, knowing his bow hits like a literal musket. Now, fires a Ginzi right through the neck, down for the count. Hyansoo, finally, sees that you killed the orc warrior pop nice. Then his feed gets spammed with level up notifs. Bag the Orc Slayer title. 15% damage buff versus orcs. Bonus orcs are now terrified of him. Sweet. The other warrior sees his buddy get deleted and nopes out fast. But Hyansoo isn't about to let him escape. He chases him down, cuts him off looking like a demon, then fires at the scared orc. Takes the dude's head clean off. Hyansoo standing on a body pile. Quests: subjugate orc army. Completed, plus his contribution hit 92%. Hard carry. Systems like WA, you crushed it. The soldiers go wild, screaming and cheering for the MV. System update. The whole squad trusts him 100%. Now, you scored a hidden piece for dominating the battlefield? Boom. That perk drops 10 charisma points in his stats. Ben hauls hands up and drags him over to our boy Hans is basically sobbing. Dude thought it was game over for sure. Hans thumps his chest. With his own severed Armetal AF and the squad salutes back. Hyunu hits M with the return salute. Hand on heart. Total respect. Trial cleared. Hyunu breathes easy. Finally done with this mess. Before checking the sunset, ready to bounce back to the blacksmith tower? Big question though. How exactly does he get back to base? Meanwhile, Dang's blacksmith council has been totally scouting for a smith epic enough to wield their OP sword. Can't trust randoms. Most smiths chase cash instead of perfection. But they're hyping this prophecy about a god-tier smith showing up to make the clan rich again. Dang thinks he found the guy, so he summons the Forge Lord stage. Coulson, the Bowsmith's boss, throws a fit about giving the sword to a noob outsider. Dang claps back, claiming Hyunu already cleared the unlock conditions for the legendary loot. Plus, the kid's classless but still managed to lead the army in wreck, those orcs with pure crafting skill. The lords perk up, totally shocked because they can't believe a classless random pulled off such a pro gamer move. Dang's like, the prophecy said the god's heir would be op as heck, and he bets the sword is gonna be the ultimate vibe check they need. Butler interrupts. Hyanu's here. Dang says, let him in fam. Hyunu enters Dang's. All. You passed. Welcome to the Blacksmith VIP Lounge. Plus, he unlocked the quest to pull the God's Prophecy sword. Deng says they'll, what's up? When he grabs it, then comes the sweet loot drop. Hanu's thinking, legendary class incoming, I did just crush an SS rank quest. Suddenly, a lord gives him props for crafting those swift arrows during the crisis. But the dude isn't totally sold, calling the arrows cheap not. Claims Hyano just got carried by that epic bow he started with. The lords are super skeptical, and they dare him to draw the blade so they can see if he's legit or a scammer. Hyano realizes these guys are tower masters who forged the Ares legends. Basically, high-tier NPC, flexing insane titles and levels. For real, Coulson is a beast blacksmith at level 3. Hyano admits they're cracked, but he doesn't feel like a noob next to them. He's just picturing the chaos. If they ditched the fancy titles and actually threw down, Hyano steps up and the sword goes boom with an aura that stuns the room. Thing turns into a laser show and literally yeets itself into Hyano's body. Hanu's standing there blinking like, where'd my loot go? Deng's grinning like a Cheshire cat cause he totally called it. Dude starts cackling like a maniac, hollering about how the prophecy finally makes sense. They've just been faking the funk with useless rituals all this time. Coulson is salty as heck, refusing to believe Hyano is the chosen one. Then Hyano gets a sweet system pop-up, congratulating him on snagging the game's first ever god class. Coulson's fuming that some random scrub bagged the god tier. The system doesn't chill, instantly crowning Hyano the blacksmith god. Level 10 stats on paper, but rockin' a god class title. Wild. And he's the first ever. Deng's behind him hyping it up like a proud dad. Plus, he scores a shiny new triple S rank title, God of Blacksmiths. Now he can ignore level caps on materials like a total hacker. Crafting goodies boosts his skills way faster now too. Basically, he's gonna op-stomp every other smith out there. System says, get to level 100 for the real test. Kid, the other bosses are kinda cool with it. But Coulson throws a tantrum, screaming no way, like a toddler, tells the crew, we ain't picking him just cause the sword said so. Deng interrupts, like prophecy rules. Bro, but Coulson argues only the guy approved by all the Tower Lords gets to be the main character. Exploiting a loophole, Coulson angrily challenges Hyano. Coulson promises you beat me, and I'll admit you're the real deal. But if Hyano loses, bye-bye, fancy title. Deng panics, telling the squad to grab Coulson, but it's crickets. Nobody moves a muscle. Deng's shocked his homies are just standing there watching the drama. Coulson's like, quit now and I'll make you Vice Lord. Smirking, like he won already, thinking Hyano will fold. Jokes on him. Hyano wanted this smoke. Hyano accepts instantly. Skills speak louder than words. Right? Ding. New quest generated. Smash Coulson in an epic duel. Coulson explains, this ain't a sword fight, it's a make-off. Says the Gia they sweat over decides who wins. They'll smash their swords together. First one to crack takes the up. Coulson points to a maxed-out workshop set up nearby. Got a top-tier forge ready for you right there? Since you've got the skills, cranking out a sword in a day is easy, right? He snickers. Unless you're not actually a forging god, then you'll flop hard. Challenge dropped. Coulson dips out. Tossin' a see ya tomorrow. Loser vibe over his shoulder. Once he's gone, Deng starts panicking. Bro, you accepted way too fast. Coulson isn't just good. He's basically the final boss of forging here. Even with your god tier cheats, you still need time to grind levels. Hyano admits, yeah, without my class switch, I'd be absolute toast. He knows being a tower master gives Coulson some seriously broken abilities and buffs, but switching to the god class, that totally nuked the skill gap. Now, it's just a raw 1v1 skill check. No excuses, thanks to his new perk, God's Custom Creation. Seriously, OP skill. It lets him craft literally whatever item he can imagine. Plus he can slap any status effect or buff on it. Total freedom. Though, aiming for high-tier effects makes the crafting minigame way harder. But if he nails the technique, boom, 100% effect rate. Meanwhile, Coulson hits his own workshop to start cooking up his weapon. He thinks he's the main character because he got his dad's forging genes, but he got outclassed by a real master once, raged, and switched to buff. That's why he stopped making swords and became the bow tower boss. He's still salty about being second best, but he swallowed that pill. What he can't take? Some random noob appearing out of nowhere to be his boss. No way. Triggered. Coulson smashes a steel with scary precision. He's locked in. At the same time, Kunu is grinding away on his own blade. Usually, adding buffs means nerfing something else. It's the whole equivalent exchange rule of crafting. Deng guesses Hyano needs to max out attack power just to survive this. To pull that off, the tower gods usually craft at legendary tiers. Deng's sweating because Hyano's base stats are only rare rank. He's worried the kid can't actually pull off a win with those numbers. Still, he wonders what kind of 40 chess Hyano is playing in there. Following an all-nighter, the the duel deadline finally drops. Both guys show up, with the Tower Lords watching like a live studio audience. Coulson sneers, surprised you didn't rage quit, actually managed to make something, or just stalling. He smirks. Let's see if you're actually worthy, or just a total poser. Hyunwoo stays quiet, completely unbothered by the trash talk. Coulson whips out a gorgeous blade. Behold, the Black Knight. It's a unique tier beast with 12,000 durability points. Insane tankiness. Plus, it's got a nasty, passive skill. Weapon breaker? Good luck. Deng ain't surprised. He knows Coulson's skills are no joke. For real. But he's shook that Coulson crafted a flawless unique grade sword overnight. Coulson grins, like a villain sure that the crew can see the masterpiece he just cooked up. That sword's packed with all his fam's secret tricks and traditions. Once Hyunwoo gets sick of Coulson's big talk, he finally whips out his own blade. Coulson nearly flips out when he sees Hyunwoo grabbing his gear. Even Deng is on the edge of his seat, waiting for the reveal. But then, total buzzkill. When they see the sword Hyunwoo made, it's just a rare sword with 1,000 durability. Seriously, so basic? The Tower Gods sigh, figuring Coulson already took the dub. Coulson smirks. Totally. Sure, he's gonna trash Hyunwoo and humble him real quick. Coulson rushes in first, trying to end Hyunwoo once and for all. Hyunwoo just chills in a defensive stance, waiting for the hit. Clang. Huge impact, and snap, one sword gets sliced clean off. The VIPs gasp. It was Coulson's sword that got wrecked. Coulson stares at his broken junk on the floor, absolutely shook. He has to ask Hyunwoo how he even pulled off that flex. Hyunwoo drops facts. You can't judge a blade just by its rank, bruh. Turns out, his sword has a perk. Won't break till durability hits 0. And that one big clash. Only shaved off 100 points. Barely a scratch. Hearing that, Coulson flashbacks to something his dad said once. That a smithing god would show up and totally change the meta. Pop said everyone would get a chance to meet this legend. Kid Coulson was super hyped to meet this smithing genius back then. Hyunwoo knew just snapping. Coulson's toy wouldn't convince the bosses, so he built a sword breaker. When he first told Deng the plan, the guy was like, yeah, okay, sure. Hyunwoo knows it's tough, but true skill and grind make it happen. Deng finally gets that he is a savage who ignores all the normal rules. Coulson is crushed. He finally speaks up to give Hyunwoo props. Yo, he asks, think I could ever make a sword cutter too? Hyunwoo smiles. Nothing's impossible if you try. Man, Coulson balls, drops to his knees, and swears loyalty for life. Quest cleared. Now Hyunwoo gets treated like the absolute boss. He is. First up, they hand him 500 gold coins. He's totally buzzing now. Plus to cash, he gets a scroll with a legendary bow recipe. It's one of the 10 big treasures of the tower. Legit loot. Coulson failed at it, but knows Hyunwoo is the chosen one to finish it. Deng's all like, trust me, the big shots are gonna fanboy over Hyunwoo. They're hyped to stand him and push him to the top. Hyunwoo logs off, back to the real world, and meets his homie who's shook by his insane gaming skills. He figures all that, grinding at the forge is finally cashing out. Ji-yoon asks, so, what's the cheat code with this god class? Hanu's like, bro, it ain't an instant win button. Then, he drops the heavy news. Gotta clear dad's debt tomorrow, and the hospital just slapped on another 10 million won. Ji-yoon brings up those new meds. Hyunwoo was eyeing. Bad news. It's 20 mil, and insurance won't cover a dime. Plus, Hyunwoo's own treatments are gonna cost huge racks, maybe more than his fancy class can earn. There's a stamina cap, so he can't just spam craft items forever. Ji-yoon says, get good and get famous. Your stats need it. His advice? Clout chase. Buddy up with top players to snag that sweet loot. Ji-yoon figures that's the meta for crafting the sickest gear. To handle the math, Ji-yoon swears he's got a master plan. In global chat, everyone's buzzing about Lord hitting legendary. Gamers are losing their minds. Cause Lord actually beat Sword King Bar to get it. Okay, not beat. He landed one clean hit, which nobody else has ever pulled off. Legit insane. Now everyone's asking, how do you even do that? Next day Hyunwoo's stressing. The bills are still too high. Even with his game earnings, he's coming up short. He's racking his brain for cash to cover the fees. When Deng, his sword sold to Lord for 53,000 gold. Talk about perfect. Time in. He sprints to the counter, telling the clerk he's ready to pay right before the deadline. Super clutch. Saved by the bell. Hyunwoo knows. This game is his lifeline. No way he's quitting now. Then Lord Demas. Passed Barrett's test. Your sword carried me. Lord thinks the 50 million won price tag was a steal considering how OP the weapon is. It made an opening that even shocked Barad. Then the intel, Barad, king of Goyard, is waiting for him. Turns out, the king wants a custom blade too. Hanu's floored. Lord says meeting Barad is a must. Walking out, Hyunwoo realizes he's finally got the juice to fix his life, buy the meds, and crush those bills. he's got to link up with Barad and track down that missing forge. Later, Hunu tries sliding into Borad's DMS, but gets totally shut down. Turns out, he's way too scrub tier to get an audience right now. He needs to grind way more XP and clout if he wants a face. Hunu nearly passes out, hearing the requirement, level 200 or bust. Desperate, he asks if there's literally any other cheat code to see the guy. The answer? The Goyard Martial Arts Cup. It's this massive annual showdown hosted in Goyard, strictly for mid-tier players between levels 50 and 60. Barad always shows up personally to scout fresh talent. That's basically the whole reason he throws this shindig for outsiders. June tips him off. Win the thing, and Barad hands over the cash himself, which makes entering this brawl only shot at meeting the boss with his current garbage stats. Next, Deng points him to Castle Territory, a zombie war zone on the border. The blacksmith figures Hunu's particular skill set is gonna come in clutch there. Plus, it's the ultimate farming spot for power leveling fast. Hunu marches toward Castle, hyped up and ready to crush this quest. He barely steps foot into Castle Territory before bumping into Lander, a level 26 warrior. Lander's like, thank God. Since the undead swarm is getting out of hand, Hunu blinks, asking why the zombies are suddenly acting up. Lander explains that the zombie horde is usually cake whenever the holy bell of Ramos chimes. That bell was their cheat code for holding the line until now. Hearing that, Hunu clicks it's definitely an in-game event mechanic. Turns out, the holy bell smashed into bits, and since they're totally clueless on a fix, they're screaming for backup. But the undead creeps have started to vibe that something's off, so they're mobbing up big time. Hunu asks the obvious, can't you guys just fix the bell? That's when Lander realizes Hunu was sent by Deng, the Sword Tower Smith. Once the connection clicks, the guy gets way more serious. Turns out, they've been praying for his arrival. He rushes Hunu to meet Commander Cal immediately. Cal gives Hunu a respectful welcome, honoring the legendary Deng. But when Hunu mentions fixing the bell, Cal says it's basically Hunu is stunned, so Cal breaks it down. They've tried repairs 1,000,000 times, with zero luck. Every expert agreed the artifact is totally totaled. Well, except for one stubborn person who is still in the castle trying to hack a solution. She's trying her best, but Cal thinks she's just wasting bandwidth. Even a level 290 smith couldn't patch it up. Cal asks for stats, and Hyeon-soo drops the bomb. He's only level 13. The boss and his sidekick totally freak out. Cal tries to be nice, basically telling him to go play with kids his own size since the base is doomed and time's up. The big boss is still yapping about defense when a grunt comes, sprinting and screaming about zombies at the east wall. Like a literal tsunami of ghouls just crashed the party. Cal screams at his squad to lock down the main gate pronto. Cal grabs Lander, warning Hyeon-soo to keep his trap shut about their chat. Hyeon-soo scopes the vibe and figures he can cheese this quest, just like the orcs. The quest pops up, ordering him to wreck the ghoul squad and guard the door. True to the hype, zombies start scaling the walls like crazy. Hyeon-soo jumps in, aiming his bow at the rotting mob. Lander warns him, those creeps are tanky without holy gear, so you gotta spam attacks on the same spot to drop M. But our boy Hyeon-soo just flexes hard when he pops a ghoul's noggin with a single arrow. Lander's jaw drops cause that bow ain't even blessed. Hyeon-soo goes full auto, blasting those annoying zombies. He's dealing so much DPS solo that the undead line crumbles. He shoves them back, giving the troops a break. Now everyone's hyping him up. Even Lander gets pumped, trash-talking the zombie horde. Hyeon-soo chills for a sec, because it's basically easy mode. Then oops, giant siege ghoul spawns. System updates. Kill that nightmare fuel. One stomp from the big guy and a bunch of soldiers get deleted. The dude is massive, towering over the castle walls. Troops start panicking, thinking only Cal can save their bacon. But that's a no-go since Cal is busy, holding the gate and can't spare a single dude. Lander sees this and knows the walls are toast. Just then, Hyeon-soo volunteers to aggro the beast. Lander's like how, but Hyeon-soo already yeeted himself off the wall to solo the boss. Lander screams at him, saying, it's suicide, but there's no stopping this guy. Swapping bow for sword, he lands and faces off against the giant ugly. The quest said, kill it, so that's the plan. Hyeon-soo rushes the monster, finally catching its eye. The ghoul starts chasing, and it turns out his kiting strategy is actually working. But now he's sweating buckets, trying not to die. Big guy is weirdly fast. Since this mob is a total tank, Hyanu switches his loadout again. It gets in his face, so he shoots, thinking, eat this, ugly. The arrow zooms at insane speed, bonking the ghoul right on the noggin. It screams, but Hyanu realizes his epic shot didn't even scratch the giant. The beast punts him like a football before he can even blink. One kick and his health bar nosedives under 10%. As he eats dirt, the system warns, 0 HP means Hyanu is salty. No way he's dying like a total noob here. He scrambles off the floor, refusing to let the game boot him out. If he wipes here, the Goyord tourney dream is toast. Plus, his dad's bills, his meds, and the plan to get the shop back. Total fail. He's hyped to flip the script on his lame reality. That's the whole reason he logged in. Can't quit now. He spams arrows into the monster's leg. That actually stings. The thing screams like a baby. Now it's fully aggroed and charging straight at him. Meanwhile, Hainu's health dips under 3%. Still fighting. He draws back. ... Snap. His bowstring busts. Well, he's totally open to get wrecked now. Smack, a giant hand connects, dropping HP to 1%. Hyanu floats in some weird glitchy void, wondering if this is the actual game over? Nope, not quitting. He reaches out, like, help a guy up. Ding! System says he unlocked a secret perk. Apparently, this triggers when a Godsmith's health is sub 5%, but his will is opus. New skill, God's emergency crafting. Let's go. The catch, he has 20 seconds to build the gear, and the weapon breaks in 30 seconds. Intense. Hyanu knows this is his lucky break. Trying to clutch the quest, he grabs his hammer and loot. Tick-tock, those 20 seconds are fading fast. He goes ham, pounding that steel furiously. Just before the buzzer, the weapon is ready to roll. Warped back, he instantly swings at the big guy. Shing, a clean slice right through the monster's gut. Hyanu sticks the landing as the ghoul faceplants. He's beaming with hype, realizing he just clutched the impossible. System confirms the kill. Huge XP drop secured, but then, Banmi blacks out before the victory lap. Lander sprints over, screaming his name like a total maniac. Next morning, Hyunu wakes up and hits the soldiers with the classic, "How long was I out cold?" question. He's stressing about the ghoul, but then bang, everyone starts cheering. They're chanting, "Hero," while he's clueless, until Cal drops the truth bomb. Cal is dying to know the secret sauce behind the win, but Hugh finds it super awkward to explain. Nobody would buy the "I crafted a holy nuke mid-fight" story anyway. Cal cuts him off, saying there is absolutely no need to be humble, when he is literally the MVP. Turns out, ghouls are allergic to holy vibes, same as ghosts. That's why Hyunu whipped up that sword to banish the evil spirits. Shout out to his dad for teaching him that clutch trivia ages ago. Hugh is just stoked that nobody died. Love the skill. Bummer, it's a one and done deal. Then Cal says, paid. He tosses a bag with 2,000 gold to Hugh's jaw drops, but he swipes that cash real quick. Then Cal gets all emo, apologizing for being a total jerk earlier. Everyone freezes seeing the big boss actually bow to Hyunu. Wild scene. Hugh is like, whoa, chill, no apology needed. Bro, they have a bro moment that makes the soldiers weep. Thanks to this little love fest between the two, Cal's friendship stats max out. Then he drops a request. He begs Hugh to fix the Ramus bell, since he sensed that holy mojo in Hugh's ghoul-slaying sword. Cal bets big that Hugh is the only one who can fix it. Hugh's like, love to help, but I gotta sprint to Goyard Kingdom. Twist. Cal mentions the Lord is sitting on legendary loot. He hints the Lord might actually trade shiny rock if Hugh manages to repair the bell. Hugh is hooked immediately. Cal takes him to see the wreckage. Hugh panics the bell isn't cracked. It's basically dust. Cal hits him with those puppy dog eyes, asking, you can fix this mess, right? Hugh stotters yeah, while internally screaming nope. Suddenly, a level 290 lady appears. Impossible. Even I failed. She gets right in Hugh's face with a death glare, basically calling him a total scammer. Rewind. Bell, the team lead, dropped the I quit bomb. Guildmaster Rune flipped out, asking why she is suddenly bailing and trashing her whole career like that. Her answer, I'm just over it. Rune begged, saying if she recruits that blacksmith Han, things will improve. She snapped back. That's literally the issue. Asking how they can offer 500 million to Aranda. Run hype ton up, swearing the dude sold his first sword for 50 million. Said if we snag him, our guild goes, boom. Belt clapped back, reminding Rune the last smith was a rondo, and the next guy just grabbed the cash and ghosted them. She brought up the dude who hit the jackpot and vanished, listing every epic film. Bell told him to zip it, whining about the struggle to fix this dumpster fire, and warned him not to block her. Run caved, but promised to save her spot if she ever decided to bounce back. At the castle, Bell pulled up only to see the town toasted. She was shook. How does a place like this just go poof? This spot proved the locals weren't just lame NPCs, but real fam like her. Belle figured if they just fixed Rama's bell, maybe they could pause the chaos. She decided to go peep the bell one more time. Reaching the room, she saw Hyunu, and freaked, called him a total scammer. Hyunu blinked, totally lost. Who are you to judge? She flexed that her blacksmith rank was way higher than his. Captain Carl jumped in, telling them to chill out. He introed Belle, as the pro smith and Hyanu as the ghoul-wrecking hero. The Cap grinned and added that on top of that, Hyanu claimed he'd fix the bell. Bell thought, level 3, killing ghouls and fixing bells. Sus. She accused Hyanu of just milking the castle's messy drama for loot. Hyansu, sick of her yapping, asked what her deal even was. He then ghosted her and began checking the shards, wondering if they'd morphed or something. A Popop confirmed Rama's spell had holy juice, but was totally bricked. Repair? Nope. Hyanu figured standard fixes were a total no-go. He grabbed a hammer and smashed a shard super hard. Bell shrieked to stop. Hyanu stayed chill, saying a fix was totally doable. Bell raged, asking if he knew what unrepairable actually meant. Just then, a soldier burst in screaming, "For the Cap!" Yelling that, zombies were flooding the place. Everyone gasped. A pop-up flashed. Hyanu thought quest, but realized it was just a patch note. It said the castle update started. Once it loaded, the new zone would spawn. They clocked the zone was turning into Zombieland. Bell thought game over, but Hyanu said crafting the bell could pause it. Bell called Cap, but Hyanu swore it was doable. He faced Bell, asking if she wasn't the one wanting to save this mess. Bell admitted he was right, but was like how. Hyanu told her to follow, bagging the bell shards into his inventory. Hyanu hyped them up, declaring they'd save this spot together. Cap call hit Hyanu with, "Yo, fix this, or we're toast. I'll stall these creeps till I drop." "Got you," Hyanu grinned. Cap raised his blade, screaming, "Don't quit. Fight till the bitter end. Boys." He begged them to just hang tight and save castle no matter what. At the forge, Bell's like, "So, what's the plan?" Hyanu's like, "Smashing the shard didn't kill the vibe. The magic's baked into the metal." His big idea? Melt it all, make a fresh bell, and boom, mega holy power. Bell gasped, "Never seen a move like that." Hyanu smirked, "Don't need a skill just to fix stuff." The melt started, and Beal was totally shook. "You're really doing this by hand. In 20, less yapping, more helping. Can't solo this?" Back at Dev HQ, a guy watched the castle update, timer ticking down. Less than an hour left. "We're cooked," he groaned. "Update's gonna flop hard." "Why so salty?" a coworker asked. Kim Taisak pointed, eyes on the screen. "Dude, is this about that hammer guy? No player can fix that." "Wrong," the girl cut in. "You knew, ain't basic." Then, the big update dropped and the battle went nuts. Carl screamed to block the zombies. They fought hard, totally gassed out. Troops were getting wrecked, and one got jumped by a beast. Carl swooped in and sliced it. Carl checked his buddy, yelling, "Just hang on a sec longer. Save our home. We grew up here. Protect it." Mid-fight, Carl's sword started cracking. "Are you kidding me?" Now, he panicked. Sword snapped. Monster lunged. Cap was totally caught off guard. "Damn it," he thought, figuring it was game over. Suddenly, a massive ding blasted the field. Zombies grabbed their heads, screeching. They lit up like fireworks and dropped as the ringing went viral. The sound vibe checked the whole zone. Soldiers looked over, stoked. Carl cheered. "Rama's bell. It's fixed." At the office, a dev spit. His soda, totally floored by the sight. Hugh actually pulled off the new bellcraft. One guy yelled, "What gives? Did the update brick itself?" Kim Talk explained, "Hugh hasn't slept in a week. Total zombie mode." Turns out, 5 days ago, Hugh hit the forge, rallied the NPCs, and started fixing that bell. He told them, "Melt it all to the basics. We gotta juice the divine power out." While Hugh sketched plans, Bell bossed a crew and ran supply drops. Next, Hugh started crafting that custom god-tier item. He planned to min-max the bell's stats with skill to nuke undead mobs and deal raw damage. Team Castle had one vibe: protect the hood. The workers grinded hard, ready to do whatever, thinking their hype would buff the bell with holy power. Last day, Bell wakes up. "Wait, when did I crash?" She sees the bell. He pulled a marathon set. "Mad lad." A screen pops up, her saying her apprentice title is glowing up. Spectating a master smith boosted her crafting efficiency by 22%. She's totally shook. Is this guy actually a top-tier master? Hugh smirks. "It was loud, but you slept like a log." "Dinna," she protests. "Till," he says. "Final lap. Hold on." Suddenly she asks, "Yo, are you he on the blacksmith?" He nods, then slaps his hand on the fresh bell. It glows with OP energy, stamped with his logo. Bell stares. Calling it pretty is an insult. It's a legendary masterpiece. System says, Hunu's second custom drop. Infinite durability. Unique. It is a reconstructed relic that was total junk before. Bell gasps. That's why it's OP. Never seen hacks like this? Suddenly, she grabs his hands tight. "Hey, team up with me, for real." Hugh blinks. Confession. No way. Cringe. Cut to the battle. Hugh smacks the new bell. Holy waves blast out. Deleting zombie hordes. They scream and crisp up. Soldiers gasp at the horror show. System bell done. Undead wrecked. Update blocked. New plot unlocked. We caught the dub. Hunu yells. Just in time, then he collapses. Stamina bar empty. He's totally code. Bell rushes in. Panicking. System Rama's Bell quest complete. Another text says the rewards got Meanwhile, the Ares forums are going viral. Who's he? A thread posts why the castle update flopped. Before and after pics of the tower are trending hard. Players realize. Sword guy fixed the bell. No shot. Huge crowds start following Hunu's workshop page. Hunu wakes up to notification spam. What's with the noise? He checks his workshops. Follower count hit 100,000 and freaks out. How is that even real? High-In grins, knowing that signing High-In on that bell was a total big brain move. Now, every tourist visiting the castle zone is going to see his tag. Asterisk, knock knock. Someone asks to barge in. Captain Carl busts in, hyping up the fact that their region's hero is finally awake. He tells Ione the Lord gave the green light to pay him for the bell. 330,000 gold pieces. Ione is shook that's equal to 330 million, when in the real world, the captain adds that a hero deserves loot of this level and hands over a fancy box as a gift from the big boss. Ione opens it, and boom, legendary orc. He thanks the captain. But Carl's like, no way, we should be thanking you. Explaining that, while other players bailed, Ione stayed and defended the squad. The captain is seriously grateful. Ione feels the vibes and thinks he just did what anyone should have. Realizing the NPC drama in Ares hits just as hard as real-life struggles. Ione starts to head out, telling the cap he's got to visit his old stomping grounds for a bit, and Carl is cool with it. Ione decides it's time to buy back his shop and logs out. Peace. The NPCs stare at the empty spot, probably thinking, man, players are weirdos. The next day over in Ganju, Heian links up with the real estate mogul, Mr. Kong. Kong checks his phone dip. Notification says Mr. Heian wired 330 million won. Kang looks at him like, you actually pulled it off. Respect. Flashback to a year ago. Heian is sitting there while Kang reviews the papers. Kong says the damage comes to 330 million. He mentions the fire and says the cash covers the hospital bills. So keep your chin up, kid. Kong gets up to bounce. Heian stammers, asking if he can buy the workshop back later. Kong pauses. Excuse me. Heian asks again if he somehow gets the dough, will Kong sell it back to him? Kang warns him that buying a crispified workshop would be throwing cash away. He'd be better off buying a fresh one. But Heian insists it's full of memories with his dad. It has to be that one. Kong mulls it over and gives him a deadline. Exactly 1 year. But he drops a warning. The second that year ends, he's selling to the first person with cash. Heian thanks him big time, and Kong says he'll wait for the call. Back in the now, Heian admits he thought he was asking for a miracle. He explains that the 1 year timeline was just a rough guess, and the chance to sell could have vanished whenever. But Kong actually kept his word. Heian asks why the guy was so chill about it. Kong says Wyan's the first dude ever to ask to buy back his own sold property. He just wanted to root for a kid with that kind of guts. Hunu mentally high-fived Kong. If not for him, the shop would be toast. He totally owed him one. Yo, Hunu asked, you ever play that game? Ares. Kang cracked up. Does a bird fly? Of course I do. Everyone plays it. Well, fun fact, I'm actually a blacksmithing. Kang nodded vigorously. Dude, that fits you perfectly. Hunu offered a freebie. Kong's eyes lit up. Wait, a custom build? No level caps? Hunu smirked. You know it? Name your price. Man, I'll craft whatever you want. Later at the pub, Belle flagged him down to her booth. Hadn't seen her face since that whole undead zombie disaster. Took you forever to show up, she winked. Hunu apologized, but she giggled. Relax. I'm joking. She cleared her throat. So, official intro. I used to be the brain behind the Golden Shield Guild. I basically built that empire from scratch. And back then, I knew it. You're gonna be a top-tier legend one day. That's why. She cut the chip. When you finally start a guild, I want the first invite. Hunu raised an eyebrow. Wait, didn't you call me a dirty scammer once? My bad. She flinched. But come on, anyone would have thought that. I'm teasing, Hunu laughed, extending a hand. Let's do this. But first, Hugh spilled his game plan. Belle's jaw dropped. You're meeting Sword, King Bar, the legend? Hunu nodded. Yep. I'm signing up. For the Joyard Martial Arts Cup. Winner gets loot from the king himself, right? Well, yeah, Belle said, biting her lip. But that tourney is crawling with It's savage out there. Exactly, Hunu shrugged. That's why I gotta win. Belle stared at him. How are you so chill? Can you even taste your food right now? Don't sweat it. I'll hit number 1 my own way, he said, leaving her totally confused. Finally, the day of the Joyard tournament rolled around. Beckel, the head honcho, welcomed the nervous crowd. Show starts the second I step down, he shouted. Get ready to fight some nasty beasts. King Bar is watching from the shadows, so don't embarrass yourselves. Good luck, kiddos. Ding! The system signaled the start, and the floor started quaking. A giant golem smashed through. A notification popped up. Mission 1. Survive the golem attack. Time limit, 1 hour. Newbies charged in, screaming, "Who starts a tourney with a boss fight?" Another system window flashed with a bonus. Whoever kills the level 109 stone golem gets a prize. One guy froze. Level 109? Is this a glitch? Round 1 is supposed to be a cakewalk. One dude didn't care. Dibs, first come, first serve. Wham! The golem flattened him instantly. Forced logout. Everyone else is screaming and scrambling to avoid getting wrecked, but they're dropping like flies and getting booted offline. They realize the wiki was wrong and have no clue how to beat this thing. Yanu just stands there watching the mess, while the others rage about their bad RNG and getting scammed. Meanwhile, Admin Beckel sees the event is a total dumpster fire. Someone glitched a high-level stone golem into the match. Beckel panics that everyone's gonna wipe and runs to the king. He sprints right into the boss room, yelling at King Bar to pull the plug ASAP. King Bar's like, nah. Beckel is totally lost. The king asks if he's blind or just doesn't get it. Take a closer look at that guy, the king says. In the pit, Yanu snipes the rock monster with a shiny arrow. It's his third custom build, the Orichalcum Fletching Arrow. A cheat item that comes back to him like a loyal dog. The lobby goes wild, wondering since when arrows act like boomerangs. Hanu's hyped about this loot from the castle quest. That legendary metal is working perfectly. He shoots again. Boom. Direct hit. The arrow boomerangs back and almost clips a dude who yells, "Watch it." Hanu's like, "My bad." The hit stuns the golem for 4 seconds. Everyone screams. It's lagging. DPS phase, go. They Zerg rush it, but the boss wakes up and yeets everyone with an ow. Then the golem grows onto Yanu and charges. Bro is definitely cooked. Someone shouts, "Just kite him," while another screams, "Run for it." Everyone is eating dirt, trying to survive the smash attacks. Last second, Heianu swaps to his daylight sword. Not done yet. He parries the smash, but the impact faceplants him anyway. Upstairs, Beckel is begging King Bar to cancel the match, saying the kid is at his limit. The king is glued to the screen, when suddenly, a plot twist grabs his attention. Even on the floor, Hyanu procs his emergency crafting skill. Craft complete, Damascus blade. Built just to slice rocks. With one massive crit, Hyanu deletes the stone golem. The sword vanishes since it was temp gear, but the XP goes crazy. Hyanu Ishuki jumped 14 levels instantly. Everyone else stares like he's hacking. How'd he do that? Canoe's confused. Wait, weren't we supposed to kill it? They yell back. No, the objective was survival. Like, who beats a boss with that level gap? So, the trial's a 3-parter. But that golem totally wrecked the difficulty curve. Supposed to be on. Who knew? Finally clues in. Boom, hits him. Room spins, lights out. Mob swarms? Is he out cold? Weird. He's still online. Chatter starts. Just how much gear did he cycle? Thought he was a jack of. Nope, straight up weapon master. Dudes are drooling over his inventory. Just one drop, please. Then Beckel pipes up. Albad, system glitch. Tourneys cancelled. Everybody scram. Hyunu goes viral instantly, trending hard. Thousands watching a stream of a dude napping. Chat's blowing up. How'd he solo that? An ID on that bow. Eagle-eyed fan zooms in on dropped loot. Says Hun. Chat connects the dots instantly. It's the Castle Bell guy, the unfixable one. Mine's blown a blacksmith, hitting that hard. His gear is cracked. Back at Beholder, CS is drowning in why cancel. Tickets. Staff's got nothing, just copy-pasting vague excuses, blaming AI whims or joyard politics. So sorry. Over and over. Over in the dev pit, a coder tells the boss. We got drama. He's like, can't right now? Busy. Turney's paused. He shrugs. Yeah, saw that coming. She yells, no, that's not the bad part. The problem is, King Bar summon who? Boss freezes already. The script wasn't ready. He's literally walking in. Now, she confirms. Boss face, yup, pulling an all. This guy breaks every rule. Total wild card. He starts sweating. If you nails the quest and maxes out rep, he gets the sword, king skills. Most OP blacksmith ever. The lead? Size. It's up to the AI though. Not guaranteed. He'll do it. She grins. Don't jinx it. He panics. Next day in game Hunu's march to the boss room. Early access. Nice. He kneels. King Bar goes. Sup? Stranger? Burrid's like, usually we do a big ceremony, but things got messy. We're keeping it low-key. You totally owned that weapon master role yesterday, though. King offers 13,000 gold. Hunu stands up. Keep the change. I heard you needed me. Guards freak out. The guards totally flipped out. They couldn't believe this newbie's attitude, interrupting the king like that. Talk about a death wish, right? Hunu didn't even blink. Yo, I'm Hunu, the blacksmith you asked for. That really ticked off security. They were about to toss him out on his ear, but King Barad put a hand up. Chill. This guy's with me. Hunu finally bowed properly. Sup, your majesty. Barad, one of the 10 legendary heroes, raised an eyebrow. You sure took your sweet time. Traffic was a nightmare, Hunu quipped. So, you know why you're here? Barad asked. To bang on some metal and make a sword. Hunu guessed. The king nodded. Bingo. Barad sighed, explaining that every top-tier smith in the server, and even Day, the tower master, had totally crashed and burned on this job. So, Kid Borat asked, why should I trust you? Won't mess it up too? Sweating bullets. Hunu smirked. I've got one thing they don't. I bet everything on my own skills. Barad burst out laughing. Digging the kid's guts? The king went all in. All right, bring out the goods. Servants hauled in a chest that was glowing like a legendary loot box. Inside was 10,000-year-old cold iron, super rare, fireproof ice metal. Hunu gawked at the shinier. This stuff looked straight out of a martial arts comic. Barad laid down the law. I need an epic-grade ice sword. Minimum. Don't cheap out on me. Nail this, and I'll give you whatever you want. Name your price. But fail. You're banned from Joyard for life. Permaban. Ding. A system window popped up. The king's commission. High-stakes time. The prize? One wish. From Barat, the punishment. Getting kicked off the server map forever. Hunu hit accept. Consider it done, boss. I don't miss. Back at the forge later, Hunu felt the hairs on his neck stand up. Someone was staring daggers at him. He spun around. It was Bella, the vice captain, and she was level 301. Yikes, Hunu thought. Okay, I know I'm the new guy, but a personal babysitter, a bit much. Then again, he realized they probably thought he'd steal the loot. Fair enough. Bella glared. Pretend I'm a ghost. Just do your job. Hunu grinned. Kinda hard with you burning a hole in my head. Yep. Bella scowled internally. Asterisk, who does this punk think he is? She knew the king was desperate. If this kid fails, I'll kill him myself. Hunu could practically feel the game over vibe radiating off her. Suddenly, an IRL notification chime went off in his head. Asterisk doorbell. Now, sorry, emergency AFK, he told Bella. Real-life calls. Hunu popped out of his gaming capsule, his room, and rushed to the door. Oh, it's the landlady. Hey, what's up? Hunu asked, totally confused. Bad news, she sighed. Husband lost his job. We gotta sell the house. Really sorry, Keanu stops her. Don't apologize. Honestly, he feels like a total scrub for renting. ... This pad dirt cheap and ghosting on rent way too many times. He asks for a deadline. She drops the bomb. He's gotta bounce in 2 weeks. She looks super guilty, but he just ... waves it off. Chill. I loved it here, he says, bowing respectfully. Once she's gone, Keanu mutters the doom countdown. 2 weeks. Dude is straight up fried. Sure, he made bank in Aries, but his dad's med bills were insane and replacing the workshop cost $330 million. On top of that, he hasn't even ... started fixing his own burns. Now he's wondering where the heck he's gonna sleep. Just then, his phone blows up. It's Kim Home. Belle picks up like, yo, what you're doing? She's got a killer idea for the quest. Keanu sighs. Can we talk later? He admits, his brain is cooked right now. Belle's like, wait, is something wrong? Keanu knows, the Barad quest is key, but he ... literally has to move out in 2 weeks. Belle snaps back, reminding him, this is do or die. She lists the big outcomes she's expecting from this. First, everyone's debating if the Joyard tourney champ ... and blacksmith Heon are actually the same dude. She says, keep guessing. When the truth drops later, the internet will break. Plus, he got that sweet gig to forge a ... sword for Barad. Basically the biggest NPC boss in Aries. Picture Barad showing off a new blade with Hun engraved on it, she says. That's the moment his stock goes to the moon. That's why she's on his team. Keanu thanks her for the reality check. I'm on it, he promises. He logs back in, and Bella is immediately screaming in his face. Where have you been? She yells. He blinks. What did I miss? She drops the news. His royal ... double quotes ... Highness Barad is stuck in the dragon's nest. Say what? Keanu gasps. Where exactly is this dragon nest? Bella rolls her eyes. How are you shocked if you don't even know where it is? Hugh shrugs. I thought I should at least look surprised. No time for jokes. Bella starts explaining fast. Basically, the dragon's nest is the zone crawling with fire monsters. And the worst spot? The Ifrit dungeon. Nobody makes it out alive. Well, except King Bar. Keanu frowns. Why go back without the sword? I'm making him... Bella sighs. His target for revenge is inside. Revenge? That word hits you hard. Cut to the flame nest. King Barad stands at the fiery gate, looking totally beat up. Going in starts the endgame, and he knows his current sword sucks for this. At least his squad got out safe. Barad ... thinks about the 3 days until backup arrives. He smiles bitterly. Maybe I should have waited for that kid to finish the sword. Sudden flashback time. And oh boy, Major feels incoming. He remembered his kid Ban would have been Hugh's age by now. Ban's game over scene played back in 4K Ultra. Died in his arms. Dad was livid. Like, why didn't you text me? Ban spilled the tea, saying he thought beating the dungeon would finally make Daddy proud of him. Realized too late he was a noob. Said my bad at the end. Bar begged him not to log off, to keep hanging on. But Ban said sorry again and quit the server for good. Still salty Bar knew, he rushed it. But letting Ifrit go? No. He's been camping this spawn point for years. Hyping himself up, he walked into the fire. Bella kept yapping. Since the prince got wrecked, the king has tried everything to hunt Ifrit, but that mob is too slippery. She said this might be the king's last shot at a win. She wasn't sure about trusting a rondo like Hinsu, but figured the king had his reasons for picking this guy. Bella dropped a knightly bow, begging Hyensu to save the boss. Boom. Emergency quest. Craft a sword to save the king. Mission, make a blade, up enough to rescue King Bar. Loot Bella's trust. Fail condition, Barad dies. No pressure. Hunu felt that. He almost lost it all to fire once too. Then a deep question hit him. If his fam died, could he keep grinding like Barad did? Determined, he swore to go all out. Back to the workshop. Sparks flying everywhere. Hammering iron, dunking it in water. Remembered Ifrit's heat melts unique gear like butter. This new weapon needs to be good. He focused hard on that glitchy frozen stone effect. Suddenly, a window popped. 10,000 deer, iron skill up. Ding, another notification came through. Blacksmith spirit, skill activated. Let's go. System says Hunu is grinding harder than anyone else. Pure sweat and feels. Put him in the zone. Announcement. Hunu's first legendary sword, crafted. A crazy bright light exploded from the shop. Bella felt the vibes and wondered, is it done yet? Hunu stood there, glowing sword in hand. Epic pose. Time to save the king. Meanwhile, Barad got crit and fell. Hurt bad, but he got back up. No rage quitting yet. Facing him was Boss Ifrit level 409. King Barad yeeted himself forward instantly. Tired of waiting, charges his aura and lands a hit, but 0 damage. Ifrit just healed right back up. Hacks. Then Ifrit spins and tries a sneaky ground attack. Woo! King Bar yeeted himself out of the way, just in time. While bailing, a fire tornado toasted Barad's blade. Totally melted his only weapon. Then Ifrit charges up a nasty move. Spams attacks on Bar, but dude dodged everything like a pro. Ifrit got salty and unleashed a massive Alfire blast, trapping the king. Stuck on the floor, he started cussing at his own bad luck. Ifrit prepped the finishing blow, chucking a flaming spear straight at him. Suddenly, a giant ice sword spawns out of nowhere and blocks it. Keanu and Bella arrived. Clutch. Bella screamed, "Yo, grab the new gear." The king snatched up the glowing blade that landed in front of him. A system window popped up showing the insane stats. It was Keanu's custom build, and it was totally OP. Plus 343% fire race and almost 400% damage versus fire mobs. The weapon even came with an active skill called Frost Blossom. Keanu yelled, "Trigger it now." Barad gripped it tight as icy energy surged through the handle. He popped the ult, sending a massive frost wave across the map. The freeze countered the fire. Ifrit screamed as the cold wrecked his flames, shouting that the match was done. Barad dashed in and sliced the boss literally in half. The system pinged. Boss defeated. Barad chilled out. For a sec, he thought he actually won, but suddenly, Ifrit's body started glowing like a ticking time bomb. Hugh was like, "Yo, what's going on?" Bella clocked it fast. Some mobs go boom when they die. Instantly, the whole dungeon got swallowed by massive flames. Bella screamed, "Run!" But the king ordered her to stay put. Using a royal command, he just accepted his fate. Looking at his son's pick in the locket, he figured it was game over. Bella was crushed. She knew she had to save her king, but his order froze her, totally glitching out on what to do. Keanu stepped up, saying he'd take the hit instead. He speed-crafted a fire ray shield and pushed into the blaze. Walking in, he shouted out to King Bar. King Bar yelled at him to bail, saying he'd done enough already. Keanu refused, insisting he wasn't going to leave his bro behind. Keanu spotted the locket. "Is this about the kid in the pic?" Barrett spilled the tea. He felt guilty. His son died and couldn't deal. Keanu asked, "Would your kid want this?" King Barad raged, grabbing Hunu's collar. "Don't you dare talk about that. The pain of losing a kid," Barad cried, "is something nobody else gets." Hugh admitted he couldn't get that pain, but he'd faced dark times too. "My dad was in a coma, and I prayed every single day for him to wake up. Even if he didn't wake, I found peace just knowing he was still alive. Hyunu got real. His son would have wanted this. No cap. Barad teared up as Hyunu begged him to let the kid chill. He saw Ban smiling. All choked up, Barad said, sorry for being a dummy. Hyunu whispered, live on, bro. Make your son proud. Finally, Barad nodded. No more cringe dad vibes. Hyunu carried him out the fire. Bella ran over, screaming in relief, asking if the king was Gucci. Hyunu said Barad's fine, but he's gotta bounce. System alert, 0 health. Forced logout incoming. Before fading, he said, players don't die, just log off. Bella stood there shook as Bar fell on her, whispering the boy saved him. She yelled his name, telling him to stay awake. But Barad passed out smiling. Hyunu woke up in real life. System said, penalty time? Level down by 1. Major L. Well, that's the vid, guys. If you dug it, comment next part below. Also, sub, hit the bell, and smash like. Thanks for watching. Catch ya later.